Tonight, the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office and coroner, the district attorney, they're releasing autopsy findings in the Kendrick Johnson case. Thanks for joining us for Bounce News at 7. I'm Rahman Johnson. Now, there was a protest today at Lowndes County High School as the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office released information in the results of the Kendrick Johnson autopsy case, ruling his death an accident as a result of positional asphyxia, which means he suffocated. Now, the sheriff says the investigation was extensive. There were multiple forensic tests, including DNA samples and interviews of more than 100 people. But the family is less than satisfied. They still think that foul play was involved. Now, the National Action Network, which is headed by the Reverend Al Sharpton, has organized a rally for this coming Saturday at Serenity Christian Church in Valdosta. Now, the Reverend Al is scheduled to attend, and tonight via Skype is our attorney, Kwame Thompson, to comment. And on the phone, we have the counsel for the Johnson family, C.B. King from Albany. Counsel Johnson and Counsel Thompson, how are you gentlemen this evening?
Good evening. I'm fine, and you? Thank you for having me.
Thank you both for joining us. Let's start out with you, Mr. King. You are the family's counsel, and we understand that, again, these findings were just released earlier today. What's the family's position on this? They're saying that it was an accident. What's the family saying?
The findings, as expressed in the autopsy report, actually confirm our belief that he was murdered.
What is it in the findings that confirm the belief? I know the family has said this from day one, that they believe that there was foul play at work. What are those things in there, those specific things, if you can discuss with us, that make them believe that this was a murder and not an accident?
Well, I can't express to you everything because we do have to have it confirmed by our experts. But as you've already pointed out, asphyxia, and including positional asphyxia, only means that a person's ability to breathe adequately has been cut off. And one of the major circumstances in which that condition arises is police restraint maneuvers.
Interesting.
And yes, as a matter of fact, if you were to check certain FBI publications, that point of view would be sustained.
Now, Kwame, I know that you have been monitoring this case with your firm in Atlanta. And initially, when they were the family was looking for the autopsy report to come back, and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation was saying that they couldn't at the time because of budget issues. What has caused them to come up with these findings, and what do you think from what you've seen? I know you've had a chance to look at the findings today. What's your take on it from the outside looking at the case?
Well, as I stated earlier, and you and I had this conversation, we believe that the issue about the budget shortfalls was nothing more than a red herring, and it sounded like a cover-up then. The issues that the community, and I'm sure that the family has, is that the sheriff initially stated that there was no foul play, and there were reports that the cause of death was accidental. The sheriff then came back in April and stated that they treat every death such as this as a homicide. And then also, the coroner was not called immediately to the scene of the death. And we know now by Georgia state law, under OCGA 45-1624, it states that where there's a suspicious death, that the coroner should be called to the scene of the accident. And there are a lot of other inconsistencies throughout the record.
Let me ask you this, Mr. King. What are the next steps? Now that we know this has been released, I understand that the Justice Department has been asked to be involved in the case. And of course, there's a rally on Saturday with Reverend Sharpton and the Action Network. What are the next steps that the family's going to take to get some kind of resolution, or at least find out what happened in their eyes to their son?
Well, previously, and that is several weeks ago, we had written the coroner a letter asking him to conduct a coroner's inquest. And a coroner's inquest is essentially like a trial. He has the authority to subpoena records coming from both the sheriff's office and anyone else for that matter, and cause individuals to take the witness stand and testify under oath. What we hope now that the results of the autopsy are in, and pointing out the inconsistencies that were just noted by my fellow counsel or attorney. We think we've got the basis upon which to persuade Mr. Watson, who is the coroner, to convene such an inquest. And then, of course, we will also be submitting the autopsy report to our expert for examination. And by the way, we did, as of yesterday, secure a court order to then exhume the body.
Okay. Well, we'll be following this case very closely. I'm sure that there's more to it. Thank you so much for joining us again. C.B. King, who's the counsel for the Johnson family, as well as Kwame Thompson from Wooderson Thompson Valburn in Atlanta. Again, that's about the Kendrick Johnson case. We'll keep you informed of new developments. Thank you, gentlemen. Now,